I want to say a few words about the idea of week six. Obviously, we're continuing our discussion of the idea of the singularity, for what it's worth. And we're just continuing to discuss it. I don't think there's any sort of really distinct difference having to do with this week as opposed to last week's material, except that generally speaking, we're focusing perhaps on a different aspect or a particular aspect of it with this excerpt, especially from Chalmers. I would say that initially, when you're thinking about the possible transformative effects or huge challenges that will result from the idea of a singularity, one is the idea that a superintelligence would, I guess, one way of putting it is it would solve all our problems technologically and scientifically. That is, there would be this, in the sense that huge changes in human life would occur very quickly because of the scientific and technological advances that a superintelligence would presumably make. That's number one, that the conditions of human life would change radically because of the technological and scientific breakthroughs that a superintelligence would accomplish very quickly. That's the idea, at least. But the second one is a more philosophical, but also practical aspect, and that is our relationship with that superintelligence and the kind of challenges that the very existence of a superintelligence would pose. So, distinct from the transformative effects on the conditions of human life because of scientific advances, is the question of what our relationship with a super AI would be, and that's really what Chalmers, at least in this excerpt from his work, really is focusing on, and perhaps that'll be our focus, is how would we actually relate or fail to relate to a superintelligence, and perhaps what sort of options there would be to how to address the problematic aspect of dealing with a system, or let's say presumably a self-conscious being who is on an entirely different level in terms of its intellectual capacities than we are. That seems to be what really this excerpt from Chalmers is really about.